This is the life and times of Louis Vuitton, brought to you by Creative Fashion, who's sponsored by Mateo Maxwell. If you haven't already checked out our first installment of the Life and Times series on Christian Louboutin, be sure to check it out on the channel. Now, there was a bit of controversy in the first video, and quite frankly, it's not that big a deal, but a lot of people made a huge fuss over it, so if you're curious, then go check it out. It's on Christian Louboutin. He's like my favorite designer for men and women, probably of all time. But let me just take a second to introduce myself. I am Mateo Maxwell, and I have taken over the reins of voicing for this channel. I am male, I love fashion, and I am not gay. A lot of people, when they hear I'm into fashion, both men and women for some reason, people just assume I'm gay, but I'm not. I'm heterosexual. But enough about me. Because of this whole controversial debacle of our last installment of the Life and Times, I thought it would only be fitting to next cover Louis Vuitton, and so we shall.
Last week, you know, they threw a sick little party for you. They had the cake with your face on it. They had the flash mob, the dancing and all that. And you just like stormed up and...
Oh, nah, you know what happened? I just want to thank my loved ones, my friends, the foundation, everybody that put that together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't really know, but I just want to thank everybody that put that together, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that was
sure.
really love. Nobody ever did that for me before.
What's going on for your birthday today, female?
Man, let me show y'all this cake. Y'all know I like it.
Gotta get the cake. That's a cake?
Yeah, that's cute.
That's
Cute
my
idea.
cake.
Drop that cake.
You turn that forward or
It's your
the other way so we can get it? The whole thing, yeah.
That's a Louis Vuitton cake.
Oh!
You know, and then y'all know I love Louis Vuitton, so hopefully y'all.
Yeah. Hey, is that made by the girl down in
This is made by a very famous person that make cakes. So named Romeo.
Mr. Child.
Mr. Child. This is when you live in that boss life. On your birthday, we in the famous Mr. Child, getting some rub in. Y'all see the birthday cake. You ain't never seen one like that. What is there to see? That way y'all get to see that's not a bag. They thought it was a bag.
I always wanted to be in the Louis Vuitton runways. My first time, by the way, and so I could not be happier.
The Louis Vuittons.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton means to me like the classic luxury suitcases. You know, I mean, they make beautiful things, but I think for me, like the suitcases and bags will be the most indelible, emblematic symbol of Louis Vuitton.
You know, Louis Vuitton, you guys the boss.
That's right, Conor McGregor. Louis Vuitton, you guys the boss. You know, they should really consider making that their next slogan. No, but seriously. Hopefully Conor comes with way better punchline from Mayweather, because if not... Anyway, Louis Vuitton, the mastermind behind the incredibly posh and prestigious luxury brand of the same name. As of today, Louis Vuitton as a brand is broken up into so many different owners, it only makes sense to go over Louis Vuitton the man first. That's him, officer. That's the man who designed this incredibly beautiful book bag I've been lusting over for months. Can somebody seriously buy this for me? Born on August 4th, 1821 in Ancaille in the Jura region in eastern France, and descended from a long-established working-class French family, Vuitton's ancestors were joiners, carpenters, farmers, and millionaires. His father, Xavier Vuitton, was a farmer, and his mother, Corinne Gilliard, was a millionaire. Say that 5 times fast. Vuitton's mother died when he was only 10 years old, and his father soon followed. On the first day of tolerable weather in the spring of 1835, at the modest age of 13, Vuitton left home alone on foot, bound for Paris. He traveled for more than 2 years, taking odd jobs to feed himself along the way, and staying wherever he could find shelter. As he walked the 292-mile trek from his native Ankai to Paris, he arrived in 1837 at the age of 16. While there was widespread poverty in Paris, the city was also being transformed by the Industrial Revolution. Vuitton was taken on as an apprentice in the workshop of a successful box maker and packer named Monsieur Marechal. In 19th century Europe, box making and packing was a highly respectable and urbane craft. A box maker and packer custom made boxes to fit the goods they stored and personally loaded and unloaded the boxes. It took Vuitton only a few years to stake out a reputation amongst Paris's fashionable class as one of the city's premier practitioners of his new craft. In 1854, at the age of 33, Vuitton married 17-year-old Clemence Emile Perrieux. Soon after the marriage, he left Marechal's shop and opened his own box making and packing workshop in Paris. Outside the shop, a sign hung reading, "Securely packs the most fragile objects, specializing in packing fashions." 4 years later, in 1858, Vuitton introduced his revolutionary stackable rectangular-shaped trunks to a market that only had rounded tops. This demand spurred his expansion into a larger workshop outside of Paris. After the re-establishment of the French Empire under Napoleon III, Vuitton was hired as personal box maker and packer to the Empress of France, the one and only Spanish Countess Eugenia de Montijo. She charged him with packing the most beautiful clothes in an exquisite way. De Montijo provided Vuitton with a gateway to other elite and royal clients who provided him with work for the rest of his career. He continued to work until his death at the age of 70 on February 27, 1892. After his death, his son Georges Vuitton took over control of the company. Now, the brand Louis Vuitton Maletier, commonly referred to as Louis Vuitton or shortened to LV, is a house founded in 1854 by Louis Vuitton, the man we just went over. The label's LV monogram appears on most of its products, ranging from luxury trunks and leather goods to ready-to-wear, shoes, watches, jewelry, accessories, sunglasses, and books. Louis Vuitton is one of the world's leading international fashion houses. It sells its products through standalone boutiques, leased departments in high-end department stores, and through the e-commerce section of its website. For 6 consecutive years, 2006 through 2012, Louis Vuitton was named the world's most valuable luxury brand. Its 2012 valuation was US $25.9 billion. The 2013 valuation of the brand was US $28.4 billion with revenue of $9.4 billion. The company operates in 50 countries with more than 460 stores worldwide. The Louis Vuitton label was founded by Vuitton in 1854 on Rue Neuve des Capucines in Paris, France. Louis Vuitton had observed that the H.J. Cave Ocelite trunk could be easily stacked, and in 1858, Vuitton introduced his flat-bottom trunks with Trianon canvas, making them lightweight and airtight. Before the introduction of Vuitton's trunks, rounded top trunks were used, generally to promote water runoff, and thus could not be stacked. It was Vuitton's gray Trianon canvas flat trunk that allowed the ability to stack with ease for voyages. Many other luggage makers imitated Louis Vuitton's style and design. The company participated in the 1867 Universal Exhibition in Paris. To protect against the duplication of his look, Vuitton changed the Trianon design to a beige and brown stripe design in 1876. By 1885, the company opened its first store in London on Oxford Street. Soon thereafter, due to the continuing imitation of his look, in 1888, Vuitton created the damier canvas pattern, which bore a logo that reads Marquis L. Vuitton Disposé, which translates into L. Vuitton Registered Trademark. In 1892, Louis Vuitton died and the company's management passed to his son. After the death of his father, Georges Vuitton began a campaign to build the company into a worldwide corporation, exhibiting the company's products at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. In 1896, the company launched the signature monogram canvas and made the worldwide patent on it. Its graphic symbols, including quatrefoils and flowers, as well as the Louis Vuitton monogram, were based on the trend of using Japanese mon designs in the late Victorian era. The patents later proved to be successful in stopping counterfeiting. In this same year, Georges traveled to the United States, where he toured cities such as New York, Philadelphia, and Chicago, selling Vuitton products. In 1901, the Louis Vuitton company introduced a steamer bag, a smaller piece of luggage designed to be kept inside Vuitton luggage trunks. By 1913, the Louis Vuitton building opened on the Champs-Élysées. It was the largest travel goods store in the world at the time. Stores also opened in New York, Bombay, Washington, London, Alexandria, and Buenos Aires as World War I began. Afterwards, in 1930, the Keepall bag was introduced. During 1932, Louis Vuitton introduced the No bag. This bag was originally made for champagne vineyards to transport bottles. Soon thereafter, the Louis Vuitton Speedy bag was introduced. Both are still manufactured today. In 1936, Georges Vuitton died, and his son, Gaston Louis Vuitton, assumed control of the company. During World War II, Louis Vuitton collaborated with the Nazis during the German occupation of France. The French book Louis Vuitton, A French Saga, authored by French journalist Stephanie Bonvicini and published by Paris-based Edition Fayard, tells how members of the Vuitton family actively aided the puppet government led by Marshal Philippe Pétain and increased their wealth from their business affairs with the Germans. The family set up a factory dedicated to producing artifacts glorifying Pétain, including more than 2,500 busts. Caroline Beboulay, a spokeswoman for the publisher Fayard, said, "They have not contested anything in the book, but they are trying to bury it by pretending it doesn't exist." Responding to the book's release in 2004, a spokesman for LVMH said, "This is ancient history." The book covers a period when it was family-run and long before it became part of LVMH. "We are diverse, tolerant, and all the things a modern company should be," an LVMH spokesman told the satirical magazine Le Canard Enchaîné. "We don't deny the facts, but regrettably the author has exaggerated the Vichy episode. We haven't put any pressure on anyone. If the journalists want to censor themselves, then that suits us fine." That publication was the only French periodical to mention the book. LVMH is the country's biggest advertiser in the press. During the 1900s, Louis Vuitton began to incorporate leather into most of its products, which range from small purses and wallets to larger pieces of luggage. In order to broaden its line, the company revamped its signature monogram canvas in 1959 to make it more supple, allowing it to be used for purses, bags, and wallets. In 1966, the Papillon was launched, a cylindrical bag that is still popular today. By 1977, their annual revenue was up to 70 million francs, or $14.27 million. A year later, the label opened its first stores in Japan, in Tokyo, and Osaka. In 1983, the company joined the America's Cup to form the Louis Vuitton Cup, a preliminary competition known as an eliminatory regatta for the yacht race. Louis Vuitton later expanded its presence into Asia with the opening of their store in Taipei, Taiwan in 1983 and Seoul, South Korea in 1984. In the following year, 1985, the Epi leather line was introduced. 1987 saw the creation of LVMH, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton SE, better known as LVMH, is a French multinational luxury goods conglomerate, native of France and headquartered in Paris. The company was formed by the 1987 merger of fashion house Louis Vuitton and Moet Hennessy, a company formed after the 1971 merger between the champagne producer Moet and Chandon and Hennessy, the cognac manufacturer. It controls around 60 subsidiaries that each manage a small number of prestigious brands. The subsidiaries are often managed independently. The oldest of the LVMH brands is a wine producer, Chateau de Ciem, which dates its origins back to 1593. Christian Dior, the luxury goods group, is the main holding company of LVMH, owning 40.9% of its shares and 59.01% of its voting rights. Bernard Arnault, majority shareholder of Dior, is chairman of both companies and CEO of LVMH. Arnault's successful integration of various famous aspirational brands into the group has inspired other luxury companies into doing the same. Thus, the French conglomerate Kering and the Swiss-based Richemont have also created extended portfolios of luxury brands. The company is a component of the Euro Stoxx 50 stock market index.
It all seems really over the top, but it's hard to believe that so much money is being squandered to no purpose.
On a souvent déclaré que depuis 1992, date du premier magasin en Chine, on n'avait jamais eu de croissance inférieure à 60% annuellement. Donc je pense qu'on ne fera pas mentir les chiffres cette année.
Profits for 1988 were reported to have been up by 49% more than in 1987. By 1989, Louis Vuitton came to operate 130 stores worldwide. Entering the 1990s, Yves Carcel was named president of Louis Vuitton, and in 1992, his brand opened its first Chinese location at the Palace Hotel in Beijing. Further products became introduced, such as the Taiga leather line in 1993 and the literature collection of Voyager Avec in 1994. In 1996, the celebration of the centennial of the monogram canvas was held in 7 cities worldwide. In 1997, Louis Vuitton made Marc Jacobs its artistic director. In March of the following year, he designed and introduced the company's first Pret-a-Porter line of clothing for men and women. Also in this year, products introduced included the Monogram Vernus line, the LV scrapbooks, and the Louis Vuitton City Guide. The last events in the 20th century were the release of the Mini Monogram line in 1999, the opening of the first store in Africa and Morocco in 2000, and finally the auction at the International Film Festival in Venice, Italy, where the vanity case Amphar, designed by Sharon Stone, was sold, with the proceeds going to the Foundation for AIDS Research. By 2001, Steven Sprouse, in collaboration with Marc Jacobs, designed a limited edition line of Vuitton bags that featured graffiti written over the monogram pattern. The graffiti read Louis Vuitton, and on certain bags, the name of the bag, such as Keep All and Speedy. Certain pieces, which featured the graffiti without the monogram canvas background, were only available on Louis Vuitton's VIP customer list. Jacobs also created the charm bracelet, the first ever piece of jewelry from Louis Vuitton, within the same year. In 2002, the Timbre watch collection was introduced. During this year, the Louis Vuitton building in Tokyo's Ginza district was opened, and the brand collaborated with Bob Wilson for its Christmas window scenography. In 2003, Takashi Murakami, in collaboration with Marc Jacobs, masterminded the new monogram multi-core canvas range of handbags and accessories. This range included the monograms of the standard monogram canvas, but in 33 different colors on either a white or black background. Murakami also created the cherry blossom pattern, in which smiling cartoon faces in the middle of pink and yellow flowers were sporadically placed atop the monogram canvas. This pattern appeared on a limited number of pieces. The production of this limited edition run was discontinued in 2003. Within 2003, the stores in Moscow, Russia, and in New Delhi, India were opened. The Vuitton Sahali leather lines were released, and the 20th century of the Louis Vuitton Cup was held. In 2004, Louis Vuitton celebrated its 150th anniversary. The brand also inaugurated stores in New York City, Sao Paulo, Mexico City, Cancun, and Johannesburg. It also opened its first global store in Shanghai. By 2005, Louis Vuitton reopened its Champs-Élysées store in Paris, designed by the American architect Eric Carlson, and released the Speedy watch collection. In 2006, Louis Vuitton held the inauguration of the Espace Louis Vuitton on its 7th floor. In 2008, Louis Vuitton released the Damier Graphite Canvas. The canvas features the classic damier pattern but in black and gray, giving it a masculine look and urban feel. Also in 2008, Pharrell Williams co-designed a series of jewelry, blazon, and glasses for Louis Vuitton. In 2010, Louis Vuitton opened what it described as their most luxurious store in London. In early 2011, Louis Vuitton hired Kim Jones as its men ready-to-wear studio and style director. He became the lead designer of menswear while working under the company-wide artistic directorship of Marc Jacobs. On September 17, 2011, Louis Vuitton opened its first island mansion in Singapore, the first mansion to be opened in Southeast Asia. As of September 2013, the company hired Darren Spaziani to lead its accessory collection. On November 4, 2013, the company confirmed that Nicolas Gasquiere had been hired to replace Marc Jacobs as artistic director of women's collections. Gasquiere's first line of the company was shown in Paris in March 2014. On April 7, 2014, Edward Schneider became the head of press and public relations of Louis Vuitton under Frederick Wickler, who is Vuitton's communications and events director. The Louis Vuitton brand and the Louis Vuitton monogram are among the world's most valuable brands. According to a Millward Brown 2010 study, Louis Vuitton is the world's 19th most valuable brand, right after Gillette and before Wells Fargo. The brand itself is estimated to be worth over $19 billion. For 6 consecutive years, Louis Vuitton was number 1 of the 10 most powerful brands list published by the Millward Brown Optimer's 2011 brand study with value of $24.3 billion. It was more than double the value of the second-ranking brand. Louis Vuitton is one of the most counterfeited brands in the fashion world due to its image as a status symbol. Ironically, the signature monogram canvas was created to prevent counterfeiting. In 2004, Louis Vuitton fakes accounted for 18% of counterfeit accessories seized in the European Union. The company actively seeks to tackle counterfeiting and employs a team of lawyers and special investigation agencies to pursue offenders through the courts worldwide. The company allocates approximately half of its communications budget to counteracting counterfeiting of its goods. LVMH further confirmed this by stating, some 60 people at various levels of responsibility working full-time on anti-counterfeiting in collaboration with a wide network of outside investigators and a team of lawyers. The company closely controls the distribution of its products. Until the 1980s, Vuitton products were widely sold in department stores. Today, Vuitton products are primarily available at authentic Louis Vuitton boutiques, with a small number of exceptions. These boutiques are commonly found in upscale shopping districts or inside luxury department stores. The boutiques within department stores operate independently from the department and have their own Louis Vuitton managers and employees. Louis Vuitton has an online store through its main website as an authorized channel to market its products. In 2006, the company attempted to have the LouisVuitton.com domain name compulsorily transferred to it from its American proprietor. The action failed and the domain was subsequently acquired by Liverpool Victoria, an English-friendly society/insurance company. Since the 19th century, Louis Vuitton trunks have been made by hand. Contemporary fashion gives a preview of the creation of the LV trunks. The craftsmen line up the leather and canvas, tapping in the tiny nails one by one and securing the 5-letter solid pick-proof brass locks with an individual handmade key, designed to allow the traveler to have only one key for all of his or her luggage. The wooden frames of each trunk are made of 30-year-old poplar that has been allowed to dry for at least 4 years. Each trunk has a serial number and can take up to 60 hours to make, and a suitcase as many as 15 hours. Iconic bags of Louis Vuitton include the Speedy Bag and Neverfull bags. Each season, Louis Vuitton produces rare, limited edition bags that are generally only available by reservation through larger Louis Vuitton stores. Many of the company's products utilize brown damier and monogram canvas materials, both of which were first used in the late 19th century. All of the company's products exhibit the eponymous Louis Vuitton initials. The company markets its product through its own stores located throughout the world, which allows it to control product quality and pricing. It also allows Louis Vuitton to prevent counterfeiting products entering its distribution channels. In addition, the company distributes its products through the company's own website, louisvuitton.com. The Louis Vuitton company seeks to cultivate a celebrity following and has used famous models, musicians, and actors such as Keith Richards, Madonna, Sean Connery, Michelle Williams, Jennifer Connelly, Hayden Christensen, Angelina Jolie, and most recently, David Bowie in its marketing campaigns. On August 2, 2007, the company announced that the former USSR leader, Mikhail Gorbachev, would appear in an ad campaign along with Steffi Graf and Catherine Deneuve. Many rappers, most notably Kanye West, Juicy J, and Wiz Khalifa, have mentioned the company in certain songs. The company commonly uses print ads in magazines and billboards in cosmopolitan cities. Louis Vuitton posters by Razia were popular in the 1980s. It previously relied on selected press for its advertising campaigns, frequently involving prestigious stars like Steffi Graf, Andre Agassi, and Catherine Deneuve, shot by Annie Leibovitz. However, Antoine Arnault, director of the communication department, has recently decided to enter the world of television and cinema. The commercial, 90 Seconds, is exploring the theme, "Where Will Life Take You?" and is translated into 13 different languages. This is the first Vuitton commercial ad ever and was directed by renowned French ad director Bruno Avelian. Louis Vuitton has had many collaborations with prominent artists and designers. Takashi Murakami created special edition collections such as the Monogramouflage collection, which debuted in 2008, and a previous collection released in 2002, which featured some of his artwork. The creations were painted over the traditional monogram canvas, which brought a radical new twist to the timeless design. Marc Jacobs also commemorated a previous collaboration designed by Steven Sprouse. This collection, originally released in 2001, featured bold print that looked like graffiti over the traditional canvas. The recreation of the collab used the same idea, but gave it a new twist using bold colors like hot pink, neon green, and orange that also glow in the dark. This recreated version of the graffiti collection was finally released in 2009 to much fanfare. Louis Vuitton also collaborated with Kanye West in 2009, designing his own limited run of shoes. On November 19, 2007, Louis Vuitton, in further efforts to prevent counterfeiting, successfully sued Britney Spears for violating counterfeit laws. A part of the music video for the song Do Something shows fingers tapping on the dashboard of a hot pink Hummer with what looks like Louis Vuitton's cherry blossom design bearing the Louis Vuitton logo. Britney Spears herself was not found liable, but a civil court in Paris ordered Sony, BMG, and MTV Online to stop showing the video. They were also fined 80,000 euros to each group. An anonymous spokesperson for LVMH stated that the video constituted an attack on Louis Vuitton's brands and its luxury image. On February 13, 2007, Louis Vuitton sent a cease and desist order to Danish art student Nadia Plesner for using an image of a bag that allegedly infringed Louis Vuitton's intellectual property rights. Plesner had created a satirical illustration, Simple Living, depicting a malnourished child holding a designer dog and a designer bag, and used it on t-shirts and posters to raise funds for the charity Divest for Darfur. On March 25th, the court ruled in favor of Louis Vuitton that the image was a clear infringement of copyright. Despite the ruling, Plesner continued to use the image, arguing artistic freedom, and posted copies of the cease and desist order on her website. On April 15, 2008, Louis Vuitton notified Plesner of the lawsuit being brought against her. Louis Vuitton demanded $7,500 for each day Plesner continued to sell the Simple Living products. $7,500 for each day the original cease and desist letter is published on her website, and $7,500 a day for using the name Louis Vuitton on her website, plus legal and enforcement costs. An LVMH spokeswoman interviewed by the New York Magazine said that Louis Vuitton was forced to take legal action when Plesner did not respond to their original request to remove the contested image, nor to the subsequent cease and desist order. In October 2008, Louis Vuitton declared that the company had dropped its lawsuit, but have since reopened it along with a new €205,000 claim due to a painting by the same artist. In May 2011, the court in The Hague found in favor of Plesner's right to freedom of expression. In May 2010, the British Advertising Standards Authority banned 2 of the company's advertising spots depicting craftsmen at work on its products for being in breach of its truthfulness clause. The ASA said that the evidence supplied by Louis Vuitton fell short of what was needed to prove the products were made by hand. The ASA said that the 2 adverts would lead consumers to interpret that Louis Vuitton bags and wallets were almost entirely handcrafted, when they were predominantly created by machine. The ASA stated, "We noted that we had not seen documentation that detailed the entire production process for Louis Vuitton products or that showed the proportion of their manufacture that was carried out by hand or machine." Vuitton denied that the production was automated, arguing that over 100 stages were involved in the making of each bag. They, however, admitted that sewing machines had been used in production processes. In February 2013, Louis Vuitton issued a complaint against the owner of a barbershop in Hong Kong for allegedly violating its intellectual property rights in relation to a stool using fabric coating that is similar to the checker pattern in Louis Vuitton's handbags. According to the Hong Kong-based Apple Daily newspaper, the company was seeking a compensation of around $3,200 and the publication of an apology in the form of newspaper advertisement. The owner had sourced basic furniture and equipment from the PRC for starting his shop. Facing this accusation, the barbershop owner said he had no means to tackle Louis Vuitton and may have to close down his shop, which has been operating for 1 year in a remote local district on Hong Kong Island. The controversy had caused tremendous concern on Hong Kong news forums and viral protests on Facebook pages. In another legal warning dated back to September 2012, Louis Vuitton had filed complaints against 2 small retail shops in Hong Kong for allegedly violating its intellectual property rights in relation to the S-Lock designed for Louis Vuitton's handbags. According to the Hong Kong-based Apple Daily newspaper, the company was seeking a compensation of around $5,000 and a public apology in the newspaper. The shopkeeper refused to pay, and Louis Vuitton demanded further damages in February 2013. The shop eventually got Louis Vuitton's demands reduced to around $640. The owner refused to pay and said they were ready to face Louis Vuitton in court. Louis Vuitton remains one of the most prestigious luxury brands this world has ever seen. Make sure to let us know how you feel about Louis Vuitton in the comments section, especially if you're a designer or just a fan of fashion.